Thank you, and I love you for your patience because, sometimes life happens. So thank you for sticking around, and we will give you what we got today. I'm going to give you the number for any of you who want to call in and get a reading, just share comments or ask questions. It's 919-518-9773 or Computers 2K Voice if you want to call in via. Yes. So last week we were kind of talking a lot about the whole situation on the planet.
This is Embodying Our Light, 11/23/15.
To start off, because we're already like 15 minutes in, and any of you that stuck around, thank you, and I love you for your patience because, sometimes life happens. So thank you for sticking around, and we will give you what we got today. I'm going to give you the number for any of you who want to call in and get a reading, just share comments or ask questions. It's 919-518-9773 or Computers 2K Voice if you want to call in via. Yes. So last week we were kind of talking a lot about the whole situation on the planet with terrorists and ISIS, and how do we maintain our frequencies of love and light? How do we stay in our alignment no matter what's happening around us? And I just felt like we should just continue on that topic and keep it going a little longer. So if any of you want to write any questions about that, or how maybe last week from what I shared, did that help you in any way? Were you able to stay more centered and aligned within your own energy and to stay in a place where you're maintaining your frequency rather than letting others dictate that? And I feel like once as a soul you really click and resonate with the fact that you are all energy, everything is energy, and when you really understand that, not just intellectually, but when you embody that understanding and that wisdom, you realize that the ultimate power that you hold in every moment is choosing your own frequency and realizing that nothing external that can happen is really ever in charge of that choice. Now, granted, there can be a lot of different energetic experiences that come in to, grab our attention, but it's really up to us. Do we go into that vibration and we get angry and we lash out and we want to fight? Or do we just observe it like, I remember that energy. I remember what that's like to have chaos and, violence and to have duality. I can just look at that and go, yep, we don't do that anymore, and come right back into a place of self-love and to choosing our own frequency of love and holding that and maintaining that vibration and raising in our vibration. Every time we choose that, we actually will amplify our own vibration, and we will feel better because of it. And something I just read to my yoga class, I believe it was yesterday morning, I thought this was kind of cool to go with what we're talking about. And I've told you about this book so many times, Getting into the Vortex. It's basically teachings of the laws of attraction, and I love it because it really starts to help whoever is tuning in to this book or listening to their CDs. It's helping you understand that you are vibration, that you are energy, and that your vibrational frequency is the most important focal point, and it is what is creating your reality. So all of you, remember last week we were talking about there are multiple layers of holographic realities and dimensions and all these experiences there's so many infinite opportunities of an experience. And so each of you, if you feel lost in any way, and I feel like there's a lot of souls out there right now that are kind of lost and are kind of afraid, and what do we do? And we're seeking God from church, we're seeking power, through our corporations, we're seeking fame and popularity through the media or whatever we're seeking externally, and we're trying to fill this feeling of inner insecurity and this feeling of lostness. And so no matter what it is you're seeking externally, it will never save you. And a girl shared something on my Facebook today, and I can't remember exactly the quote, but basically I totally agree with what she was saying. In essence, is that a lot of us, we've been taught, any of us that have been brought up in religion, we've been taught that Christ is going to return and is going to save us all, and there's going to be this like Messiah savior. But what I've always felt to be true is that it will not be this external being that's going to come save us all. There may be a lot of light workers like myself that are expressing messages of truth consistently and constantly to humanity to help them remember the truth. But what it is it's really an inner shift where Christ consciousness is activated within. And you remember that you are your own savior. And so in essence, whatever we're seeking out there to save us, it's going to be a distraction, because internally, when we shift and we feel love for self, we feel oneness with our source. When we enter what I call the unified field, we're at a higher level of consciousness, we're one with all. We enter a state of what my beloved twin flame and I like to refer to as eagle vision, like soaring eagles. You are above the storm clouds, you're observing it, but you're not in it. And I want to read this to you because it's, again, in alignment with the vibrational frequency. And I think this might help any of you that are open and receptive to helping you realize that you and you alone choose your frequency every moment, every breath. So here's what it has to say today. It is nice to have an opportunity to visit with you for the purpose of tuning to your natural rhythm of well-being. Your intelligent body is comprised of trillions of cells, and they are seeking and finding alignment and balance at all times. While it is obvious that a good-feeling body makes for a more pleasant physical experience, we want you to understand that finding pleasant things to focus upon also makes for a good-feeling body. However, most humans are approaching the subject of their physical well-being in a backward manner. Most people who are experiencing physical ailments, sickness, disease, let their physical conditions dictate their mental attitude. In other words, their emotions are responsive to their physical conditions. And this also applies to not just sickness, but let's say you're driving in traffic and you're just irritated that the traffic's not moving fast enough, so you're road raging, you're slamming your horn, you're giving people the middle finger. Like, you really have lost control, and you are the only one that is choosing that. The person driving slow in front of you is not to blame. The person that, cut you off because they're trying to just get there too is not to blame. Really, every one of us and our chosen frequency is our choice. And so this is any physical condition, meaning any external sense of reality. It is not more important than your own choosing of peace and love and staying stable and staying centered. So anything we make more important than that, then we basically fall into this victimization energy where we start to blame others and we project outwardly, you're the reason for this, you ruined my life, you caused me the suffering. Not really. If we really want to have this radical shift, we have to look inward and realize, whoa, I freaking created that. I was a victim. I didn't stand in my power. I didn't make choices that, felt authentic, or I let them sway me. And we have to start to really own that. I mean, we don't have to. I would encourage it, because until we choose that empowering choice, no matter what you're getting out there, you're going to always feel like sheep. You're going to always feel like you're being pushed around and swayed, because in essence, you're not really tuning in and you're not really owning your own power. And that's really what my job, like my soul mission and my joy and pleasure, is to help mirror that to each of you and to help encourage you to choose that, because choosing to stand in your power and truly live as an empowered being and choose your frequency, choose your reality, choose how you feel every moment, that's powerful. Don't let anybody else take that from you, because in essence, they can't take it. You give it to them. And so if we just kind of tune in on that, we can see, wow, even if I'm having a bad day, meaning I don't feel my best today, so I don't have to necessarily label it bad day. Maybe I just don't feel my best, and today is a day of self-love. Today's a day where I need to chill, I need to relax more. I don't ever have the right to lash out at anyone else. And I feel like this is such an important message, because in my own personal movie, I've seen a lot of humans go into fear when they feel lost, when they feel afraid from their own choices, and they feel justified in lashing out. They feel justified, like, well, you deserve it because you hurt me, or you deserve it because, you have everything going for you and I don't. No, actually, we never really have an aligned right to treat others this way. I would say we all have free will. Every one of us listening today knows that we've probably had times where we were psychos that, you know, flipped out on somebody. And there's probably been times we've had someone do that to us. But that's the old holographic reality. And if we want to shift that, if we want to move into this new earth vibration of love, of light, of holding that space of oneness in the unified field, we need to be very clear and transparent. And we need to let ourselves be vulnerable. We need to have a lot of compassion for ourselves, be very gentle with ourselves. But we also need to drop all the bullshit that distracts us from actually living authentically. We cannot any longer blame anybody out there for our problems, because that is, in essence, you taking that path to the old school 3D reality of victimization, martyrdom, and it is not going to serve any of you. And so I'm just going to boldly state that you never have a right to lash out at anyone. Really, you have free will to do it, but do you really have the right? Meaning, if I choose as a vibrational being, a free sovereign being of love and light that is in my alignment, would I ever choose to do that if I'm in a state of love and light? No, you would not. But when you go into this energy of fearful, frantic human that feels like they are not getting their share, someone's took something, there's not enough, they have to get their place in the world. What I loved is William actually made a reference of, I can't remember exactly how he said it, but he was talking about people when they're like that, they're like chickens, and their heads just buried in the dirt, and they're just pecking, and they're just trying to get, what they can. And they can't even comprehend an eagle, that the eagle is soaring above, and it's seeing that perspective. And an eagle, like, I consider myself to be in an expanded, visionary state where I can observe and love all of humanity, and I can have compassion for all. I see where they are. I understand why the chickens are living like fearful, frantic chickens. They're running around, they're pecking up the ground, they're trying to get their share, they're pecking each other in the head. They can't see anything further than themselves because they're so inwardly focused on what's in it for me, where's my share, everyone's always mean to me, I'm a victim, I have no power. And so they race around like fearful, frantic little chickens. And if you've ever seen how chickens are, I used to have chickens, they really aren't very intelligently connected to like much further than themselves. And if you leave them in a space very long, they basically will destroy the earth there. They will take everything. They will pillage that land until there's nothing left, and they will pick it dry. And I really look at humanity, and is this what we want to be? Because when I watch humans that are in their ego, meaning misaligned sense of self, that fearful, frantic, egoic human that is just racing around, trying to get fame, trying to get popularity, trying to get their share, little regard to the wholeness, little regard, like you cannot, if you're in your alignment, you cannot be kind to one while being hateful to another. That is not alignment. So if your energy is like, oh, I'm going to be very complimentary and helpful to this one while being hateful to that one as an approach to get to them, you're out of alignment. So in essence, we need to realize that energy will never save us. It's never going to help us feel better. It's going to actually cause a lot of drama and pain and suffering, unless it's happening to an eagle, and an eagle will just observe that, like, wow, I see exactly where you are, but you're not going to activate me because I will not participate in that behavior. And so part of what I see is like this whole analogy of chickens and eagles is, imagine that those eagles, first of all, don't want to hunt you, because in real life, eagles will take chickens down every now and then. But let's imagine that eagle vision is like your angelic self being activated. So as you're embodying your divinity, your higher self is descending into your human body, your vessel. You can activate this frequency within of such love and such light that you really understand what Christ consciousness is. It is about unconditional love. It is unity consciousness. It really is seeing from like a hive consciousness of how all choices affect the whole. And so that consciousness will be very discerning of where it will flow, where it will move, based on the alignment or misalignment of the ones around it. And so really being an eagle vision is a very powerful, empowered place to be. And it's what, like in our heart chakra workshop that we just had, I talk about being in the higher heart as opposed to the human heart, meaning human heart's what's in it for me. I like you, I don't like you. It's very opinionated. It's very fearful. It's small. It doesn't let many in. It's very picky. And there's that human part of us, and it's here, and we need to integrate these two energies, not deny the human aspect of self, but to allow the dissension of higher self, angelic self, to come into the vessel